Why you must not lose faith in hard times. There are moments in life when faith feels strong, prayer feels natural, hope feels alive, the future feels full of possibility. But there are also moments when faith feels fragile, difficulties appear, prayers seem unanswered, and slowly discouragement begins to grow. In those moments, some people quietly begin to wonder if believing is worth it, not because they want to walk away from God, but because the weight of life begins to feel heavy. Faith is often described as something strong and unshakable, but the truth is that even strong believers experience seasons of doubt and exhaustion. Faith is not the absence of struggle. Faith is the decision to keep trusting even when struggle appears. In the Bible, there is a moment when the disciples found themselves in the middle of a storm while crossing the sea. The wind became strong, the waves grew violent, the boat began to fill with water. The disciples were experienced fishermen. They were not strangers to storms, but this storm frightened them. Meanwhile, Jesus was in the boat with them. When the disciples woke him, they said something that revealed their fear. They asked, "Do you not care that we are perishing?" In other words, they believed the storm meant they had been forgotten. But the presence of a storm does not mean the absence of God. Jesus stood, spoke to the wind, and the storm became calm. Then he asked them a question. "Why are you afraid? Do you still have no faith?" It was not the storm that concerned him. It was their belief that the storm meant God had stopped caring. Sometimes life feels like that boat in the storm. Unexpected problems arrive, plans collapse, situations become uncertain, and fear begins to whisper that maybe God has forgotten. But storms do not cancel God's presence. Very often, storms reveal how much we need Him. Faith does not mean pretending the storm is small. Faith means remembering that God is greater than the storm. Peter experienced something similar when he stepped out of the boat to walk toward Jesus on the water. For a moment he walked successfully, but when he looked at the wind and the waves, fear entered his heart. The moment fear replaced focus, he began to sink. Jesus immediately reached out and lifted him. The lesson was simple but powerful. What we focus on shapes what we experience. When our focus stays on fear, problems appear larger. When our focus stays on God, hope becomes stronger. This does not mean that faith removes every challenge, but faith changes how we walk through those challenges. There will be days when your faith feels strong. There will also be days when it feels weak. What matters most is not emotional strength, but consistency. Continuing to pray, continuing to believe, continuing to move forward even when you feel uncertain. Faith grows through persistence. Many of the people we admire in Scripture faced moments where giving up would have been easy. David spent years hiding before becoming king. Joseph spent years in prison before seeing his purpose fulfilled. Even the disciples faced persecution after they began spreading their message, but they continued. They did not stop believing because the journey became difficult. They trusted that God's promises were greater than temporary hardships. When you feel like losing faith, remember that faith is not measured by how easy life feels. Faith is measured by your willingness to continue trusting. A seed planted in the ground spends a long time unseen before it breaks through the surface. During that hidden season, it may look like nothing is happening, but beneath the surface, growth is taking place. Sometimes your life may feel like that hidden season. You are praying, you are trying, you are hoping, yet nothing seems to be changing. But growth often begins invisibly. God's work is not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it is quiet, gradual, patient, and over time, what seemed like a silent season becomes the foundation for something new. If you feel tired, remember that faith does not require perfection. It simply requires persistence. Even a small amount of faith can carry you forward. Faith means trusting that the story is not finished. The chapter you are in right now may feel uncertain, But chapters change, seasons shift, and what looks like an ending can become the beginning of something greater. So if you ever feel close to losing faith, pause and remember this: storms pass, growth takes time, and God's work in your life is often happening even when you cannot yet see it. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply keep believing even when the path ahead is not yet clear.